You know what, lads? I really went into last night with a positive attitude, positive mentality. I thought, you know what? Instead of going into a show dreading it, instead of going into a show knowing that they're going to give me absolute nothing, let me go into it expecting, just wanting a fun night. Let me just sit here and just see the positives in everything that they give us. Let's just try and let Triple H cook, right? Let's let him do his thing. Let's come out of the night saying, you know what? Maybe this was good. Maybe this was good. When in reality, I cannot do that. It would be impossible for me to sit here and pretend like there was anything positive on that entire show last night. I would be lying to all of you if I was to sit here and be positive. If I was to sit here and tell you what they did good, because they did nothing good. Nothing, maybe one thing, maybe two at a push, but I cannot sit here and say that Raw was good, even remotely good. It was awful. It was bad. It was boring. It was another example, another situation, another show where all they do is give you absolute nothing, no effort, and then give you something big at the end to try and take you away from how bad the rest of the show was, which was SummerSlam, which was WrestleMania, which was the last few Raws and SmackDowns. Absolute no effort put into the entire show at all. Pure nothingness. And then give us something big at the end to try and give us the illusion that the show wasn't that bad, right? Give the illusion that it was actually an alright show, because that's your lasting image. What happened at the end? Does that make it a good show? Absolutely not. It was awful. Triple H cannot book a professional wrestling show. Full stop. He could not book SummerSlam properly, and he hasn't booked the Raw after properly. That was bad. There was actually some intrigue going into the show. Actually some questions. What is Seth going to do? What is Punk going to do? Roman's there. Does Brock show up? Where do we go into anything new, anything fresh? And at the end of it, those questions have been answered, but not the answers that we wanted. Now, I don't even know. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go and think back to what happened last night, but I'm here. I have my notes. I'm going to go through everything that happened, or at least the big things that happened, if you can call them big, the main things that happened on the show. Again, it was just, I went into the show with a positive mentality, positive attitude. I thought, you know what, let me just see what they do. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to try to see the positive things in everything. And I was left the same as I'm left every week, disappointed, bored into depression at how bad the booking is. I'm going to start from the start, because the main event isn't even worth going over at the start of this video. Because, yeah, it was a good moment, it was alright, it was a nice little way to end the show, but it doesn't make up for the rest of the show. So we're going to start from the beginning. Seth Rollins comes out. Now this just proves how stupid WWE crowds are in 2025. So Seth comes out. Well, not even just the crowds. How stupid they are for not changing his theme song. Because he comes out to the same theme. So the crowd are there singing along to his song. He's encouraging them to sing. Seth Rollins is there doing his hands, encouraging them to sing along to his theme song. Then the music stops and they boo him. You were just singing his song. You were singing along to the theme song of someone that just screwed the person that you will love, CM Punk. And then 2 nights later, you're there singing his theme song because he's telling you to. Do you not realise what you are doing? It's just like, oh my God. It is Triple H's fault. WWE's fault for not changing it. You can't have him keep the same theme song, do something so dastardly like what he did to CM Punk, and then go out two nights later and have the entire crowd sing his theme song. It does not work. They start as soon as the song ends, they go back to booing him, singing CM Punk's name. You're chanting for CM Punk when you were just singing the song of someone that just robbed his title. Now you're singing his song and booing Seth. I mean, Seth cuts the promo we all knew he was going to cut. The exact promo we all knew he was going to cut, he cut. We have the power, we're the vision, we're this, I have the title, I don't like CM Punk. Right, you fans betrayed me. He said this exact same thing before, which is what I knew was going to happen. Saturday night, that moment was great. The moment itself, the cash-in, was done perfectly. It was really good. But I knew, and we all knew, that where it would go from there would not reach those levels. Because now we've got to sit through Seth Rollins saying the same thing every week, and another CM Punk feud, or even a 6-man tag, which I don't even know, whatever, we'll get into it. It's just so bad. Same thing every week. Even now he has the title. Same thing every week. LA Knight comes out. And I'm thinking, well, this is instantly just a consolation prize for not giving him anything at SummerSlam, right? You don't give him anything at SummerSlam. Let's give him a little title match with Seth in the main event. And we all knew how this was going to end. We all knew Roman Reigns was there. We all knew CM Punk was probably there. Braun Breaker there, Bronson Reed there. You all knew this show was going to end in some bullshit, everyone out there. And that is exactly what we got. No creativity, of course. Then we get Rusev versus Sheamus again. Again. Anyway, moving on. They're setting up, I think very clearly setting up a Clash in Paris match, right? Because the match ended in a count out and then they just kind of beat each other up. They were beating each other up throughout the night, which I actually like going back to something, carrying something on throughout the night. So I did like that, but it sets up a Rusev versus Sheamus rematch. So it is what it is. I mean, they'll probably have a decent match at Clash in Paris, but will anyone care that much? Probably not. Then we get Penta versus Waller. From a match that everyone wants to see, everyone's on the edge of their seat, excited for, in Rusev versus Sheamus. Straight into another Penta versus Waller. Riveting television, riveting. This match just ends with Penta winning, the New Day get involved. I don't even know what's going on. That hat that Xavier Woods was wearing was Triple H's, surely. The size of his ego in his head, that hat can only fit one man, and his name is Triple H. Yeah, just to fit his nose under when it's raining. Use it as an umbrella, you know what I mean? Then we get a Naomi promo. A Naomi promo to the live crowd, you know, she's just kept the title at SummerSlam, she's just beat Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. So of course, she gets a promo. But there's one issue. It's in an ad break. And it gets cut off at the end. That's how you do Naomi. The night after, she's just retained her title, beating Rhea, beating Io. Big promo for her, right? Big moment. Get her involved in something creative with Stephanie, being as that's who she's going to face next at Clash in Paris. No, we'll just put her in an ad break, and then we'll cut her off at the end. I mean, she did get a backstage segment later in the night, but that was it. No creativity, just a little promo between her and Stephanie backstage. Wow, what a way to get everyone on the edge of their seat, excited for this match, right? Let's just have them in a backstage promo. That'll do. Bare minimum booking. Then we get a very awkward Charlotte Alexa promo. Charlotte's trying to play this relatable character that it just isn't translating at all. Charlotte should not be playing a relatable character. She should be playing a heel that thinks she's above everyone. She should not be playing relatable because it just came off as very cringe, but it was what it was. Then the Judgment Day come out, Roxanne and Raquel. We knew, okay, we're getting a rematch of a rematch. So there we go. And then at the end of this, Roxanne Perez takes the pin again. Do you know who took the pin Saturday in their match? Roxanne Perez. She takes the pin again 2 nights later. Why? You have to be careful booking people like this because we're all gonna remember this. Back-to-back pins. After just losing the title, she gets pinned again. Clean by Alexa again. What are we doing with Roxanne Perez? You can't just put titles on her and expect people to see her as dominant. You can't take the titles off of them, have her take more losses, and expect people to see her as dominant. We need to be careful booking people like this because you cannot just have someone as talented as Roxanne Perez, someone as young and talented and a future star in this company, keep taking L's. It's going to go on their record. It's ruining them. It's ruining them. So now when Liv Morgan comes back to set up a Liv Morgan-Roxanne Perez match, right, which is something we'd all like to see, I think, right? Or at least I would. No, it's not. Now it's like, well, Roxanne's been taking L after L after L. Liv Morgan is clearly very good. So it's just a very lopsided match. Roxanne cannot win matches. Liv Morgan can. So how are we supposed to fully invest in it? You know what I mean? Then we got Dominic versus Dragon Lee. Whatever. Don't care about the match really. But after it, 3 El Grande Americanos. Now we know one is Ludwig Kaiser. We know the other is probably Pete Dunne. Now there's a third and I have no idea who that one is. What are we doing with this El Grande Americano gimmick? Because it started off with Chad Gable literally he couldn't beat the luchadors, so he put a mask on, dressed up as a luchador, right? At least it made a little bit of sense. He got injured, and now they're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks, with no true actual thought put into it, because they didn't stop to think, is it realistic that a character like Ludwig Kaiser would go out there dressed as a luchador? No. Is it realistic that Pete Dunne would go out there, realistically, his character, would he play a luchador? No. They don't put thought into this. Ludwig Kaiser and Pete Dunne, their characters are serious. They take themselves serious. So why would they go out there dressed as a luchador when it has nothing to do with them? They have nothing to do with luchadors. That was Chad Gable's whole thing. He got injured and they just thought, oh, it'd be kind of funny if we put a mask on a couple of people, right? Without actually having to stop and think, does this make sense? Does this work? Would these characters actually realistically do that? No. Does it ruin them? Does it ruin their character? Probably. Then we get probably the best part of the show, Becky Lynch versus a Nikki Bella promo. Cliff setting that match up, which I like. It's new, it's fresh. I like both of these people. It puts that IC title on a big stage, right? 2 big names involved. I like that. Something we haven't seen before. I like that. Decent promo. Nikki Bella shocked me for how good her promo was, because when she came back and she cut that promo with Liv Morgan, she didn't have that. I don't know, it just felt a bit, it felt too scripted. She was reading a script, it didn't feel authentic. That promo last night, she sounded really good, and then Becky Lynch cuts a promo back to her. No back and forth. They don't do back and forth anymore. Well, actually, there was a bit of back and forth. I lied to you. I'm sorry, I forgot. Becky Lynch makes a John Cena reference, right? Me and Seth are the best couple in wrestling. You could have been if, and then alluding to John Cena, and then she says, oh, you can't see him anymore. And the crowd is acting like she's just said the most devastating thing you could ever say to a human. How many people have said this to Nikki Bella? How many people are going to say it to her before people stop reacting like it's the worst thing you could say to someone? Right? Yes, it was a nice little dig, but why are we acting like it's the most devastating thing anyone's ever said in the history of this company. Oh my God, I can't believe she said that. Everyone that's been in a feud or a promo with Nikki Bella has said that every single time. It was a good dig, but let's calm down a bit. Let's chill out a bit. Then we get the main event, which was set up at the start of the show. LA Knight versus Seth. We knew this wasn't going to end clean, which was the case. Decent match. Ends with... who was it for? It was CM Punk came out because Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker were banned from ringside. So CM Punk comes out. Cost him the match, so it's a DQ. And LA Knight looks like the biggest idiot in all of this. LA Knight looks like an absolute idiot in all of this. He hasn't been seen since Saturday night's main event, since he beat Seth. They kept him off entirely. Gave him nothing for SummerSlam. And now he's losing a title match. CM Punk costs him. He's there like, oh, how dare you cost me my match. I'm very upset at you. And then he just gets destroyed by the Bronze and Seth. LA Knight looks like an absolute idiot. Constantly. Triple H books this guy to look like a complete idiot because he's not a Triple H guy. He doesn't constantly praise Triple H, say he's a Triple H guy. He's called out his booking before. On more than one occasion. So of course Triple H is not going to book him to the level of Jey Uso. He's not going to, ever. This is the best, this is the highest point that LA Knight is ever going to reach in this company. Because Triple H just will not give him anything. So he looks like the biggest idiot in all of this. Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker come out after the match. They beat up Punk and Seth and LA. Then Roman comes out. We get a brawl. Ends with Roman just getting destroyed. Tsunami. And this new division. They finally have a name. Division. They end the show. Hands held high. Clearly setting up a 6-man tag. Right? Or at least that's what it's alluding to. I don't know where else they could go with it. Seth versus Punk versus Roman. That was your main event. You can't do that again. Seth, Punk, LA Knight. Potentially. Was that Roman just getting wrote off TV for another few months? Until Survivor Series or something? Royal Rumble? Potentially. Did Roman Reigns just get wrote off TV for another few months? If that's the case, then that's... Roman Reigns, we all love you. But show up to work more. Show up more. You can't come back and then Triple H is just going to book you into another tag team match. But it's either setting up Roman Reigns being wrote off TV for another few months or a 6-man tag. Which could be even worse. Because that would mean that Roman Reigns has come back since WrestleMania, comes back after months for back-to-back tag team matches. That would be incredibly stupid. But again, that was your main event. It was a decent little way to end the show. Bronson Reed robs his shoes again. But again, it's another show that ends with them giving you something big to give you the illusion that the rest of the show was good. Not the case at all. You cannot make us forget how irrelevant, pointless and boring the rest of the show was. They do this every week. Even PLEs, WrestleMania, awful show, big main event to take your mind off of it, right? Seth betraying, Paul Heyman betraying Punk and Roman, and then Cena winning his 17th title and Travis Scott. Big moment to take you away from it. SummerSlam, awful show. Seth cashing, awful show. Brock Lesnar. Raw SmackDown, give you a boring show, and then they'll have the tag teams go out there and create havoc at the end. Or they'll have Roman Reigns come out at the end, or CM Punk, to try and take you away from the lack of effort that they put into the rest of the show. They must sit in the writer's room and go, okay, let's just write the main event out, and then just put absolutely no effort into the rest of the show. Let's get to the next PLE so we can make as much money as we possibly can from the fans that are not fans if they complain this, because how dare they? Anyway, that was Raw. Pathetically bad, but that's the end of this SummerSlam weekend. 4 reviews on the bounce. Appreciate the love. But thank God it's over.